So that's the finished sound of the lead vocal. However, I just wanted to add some things in here to kind of add some excitement, some ear candy, and keep the kind of attention of the listener. And for that, I used some stutters. We've got a couple of reverse reverbs as well. And this is kind of really in line with the UK grime and drill kind of sound. You know, it's typical of that genre. And also some beat chops up here that I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the instrumental. But you'll hear those as we kind of go through each one of these things here. So let's start with the stutters. Really simple. I just duplicated this track here, so I would have made 2 copies of the lead vocal here. Put them up here, panned one to the left and one slightly to the right. But then I also EQ'd these slightly differently, so I rolled off more of the low end and a little bit of the high end and boosted a little bit of the mid-range here on these stutter tracks. Yeah, they're both identical. And then I've basically just gone through the track, and wherever there's a space where I feel like the stutter would work, I basically chopped the first word or the first kind of syllable of the word here and kind of clicked and dragged it up and copied it onto these 2 channels like that. So let's play this first one and hopefully you'll see what I'm saying. And you'll also hear that some of these kind of coincide with a chop in the instrumental to make them work even better.
Had to give thanks to Allah, man's breathing. That night where I could have got wet. Man's breathing. That night where I could have got wet. Credit and I don't do debt. So I'm praying that I get that rahmah, cause I done things that I can't forget. I don't take credit and I don't do debt. So I'm praying that I get that. Do debt. So I'm praying that I get that rahmah, cause I done things that I can't forget. Back when I lost my mind, would have thought I was CeeLo Green.
So this is a good example here of where I've used the beat chop in conjunction with the stutter here to add more of an impact. So if I put this beat back to how it was originally, you'll hear that it just doesn't have the same impact.
Ducking them Shayardine. I remember back when I lost my mind. Would have thought I was CeeLo Green. Sweat felt like
it's still cool, but it's just not the same as
Shayardine. I remember back when I lost my mind. Would have thought I was CeeLo Green. Sweat.
So for that there, as I say, I just would have cut the kind of wood, the word wood, copy and pasted it up to these 2 channels. One's left, one's right. Pretty simple stuff. And then I've just chopped the beat here, but then I've left a little bit of the beat in here, but on this different channel here, which is the low pass filter channel. And for this low pass filter channel, I could have just done this with an EQ, and that would have done a similar thing. But instead, I used this Storch filter plugin, which is basically doing the same thing. As you see, I've just got a cut off here at around 600 Hertz. But then it's also adding a little kind of filter. So it's kind of warping the sound at the same time, which just adds an extra little touch. So let's play through some of these other stutters further on throughout the track.
He's in Cairo, now everybody wanna ride this wave. Got me out here feeling like Noah, but my ship don't take no snakes, pigs.
Again, same thing here, big gap in the beat here that I've cut out, and then I've just added 2 of the kicks in at the start and end of this, but on that filtered channel.
Viral, cause I punch man up like Moses. Then I'm dipped to my G's in Cairo. Now everybody wanna ride this wave. Got me out here feeling like Noah, but my ship don't take my oh gosh. What going for the shoot, he's lost. Man got knowledge and paid that cost. Still I done bare sins last week, so I make that wudu and wipe them off.
So I think those stutters, you know, in the absence of having, you know, we do have ad-libs here, but we don't have background vocals, we don't have BVs for the verse, it's just one straight verse. I think, you know, these things just add a little bit of attitude, as I say, ear candy, and just add something extra to the track. And these are the extra little things that an artist really appreciates when you put that extra time in as an engineer to just create this extra little pieces of feel and little bits of enjoyment for the listener, you know. We also have these reverse reverbs on this channel up here, and I'll play a couple of these through and then we'll take a look at how I created them. The best one is probably this one here, but we'll play this one first in the first verse.
I don't do debt, so I'm praying that I get that rahmah, cause I done things that I can't forget. How can you say I ain't on Dean? Every day ducking them Shayardine. I still won't allow me, and they tell me music's haram, but I don't get my deen from Saudi. How many times have I prayed my salah? I can't go sleep without Surah Falak.
Yeah, so this one here probably has the most impact because it's at the start of the verse, and also there's a big gap here where we've cut the beat out. And how did I create this? So let's first play this in solo.
How many times have I prayed my salah? I can't.
So there's many different ways of creating a reverse reverb like this, but this is the way that I like to do it. So I've got basic channel settings here, a de-esser, an EQ, a compression, and that's all pretty straightforward. The thing that's actually creating the sound of the reverse reverb is this Space Designer plugin, which comes with Logic as standard. And this has the ability to do a reverse function. So we click this reverse button here and it actually flips the reverb around. And then we just set the length and the size of the kind of tail on the delay, and that creates the sound. And then I would have just cut this first little sound off here and copy and pasted it up to this channel, just like that. And then I would have adjusted where this is based on how long the length of the reverb is, if that makes sense. So I would have had to move this around to get it to line up perfectly with the start of the verse. Let me just undo that. So for example, if I'd have put it here to begin with, then you'll hear that it's not quite right.
How many times have I prayed my salah?
But putting it right there just made it right in terms of the timing. You want the end of the reverb to kind of line up with the start of the verse here.
How many times have I prayed my...
Doesn't have to be bang on, you know, and sometimes it's good if it's got a gap before as well. So it's all down to just taste and personal preference really, but that's how I liked it on this. After that reverse reverb, we're actually going into a tremolo. So this makes it go from left to right in the speakers. It's adding that kind of movement.
How many times have I prayed my... How many times have I...
Yeah, so with or without that, you know, again, it's just personal preference. I just like it to have that little bit of motion, a little bit of movement in it. After that, I've actually added a reverb to the reverse reverb. So it's got a little bit of a tail on it. And again, this is just personal preference, whether you want to do that or not. I decided to just add a little 11% reverb on the end of the reverse reverb. Then I've got it kind of slamming into an L2 limiter. Again, this is not necessary, but I just wanted more level. I wanted it to be more loud and more in your face. So this is just kind of compressing it and pushing it right forward. Let me play you without this and you'll see what I mean.
How many times have I prayed?
Just makes it louder basically and a little bit more impactful when it finally hits. So yeah, that's how we created that. And I'll play you these, another couple of these throughout the track.
Go viral, cause I punch man up like Moses. Then I'm dipped to my G's in Cairo. Now everybody wanna ride this wave. Got me out here feeling like Noah. And I don't do that. So I'm praying that I get that rahmah, cause I done things that I can't forget. How can you say I ain't on Dean?
I think they're pretty cool. And again, it just adds that little bit of excitement and ear candy and also attitude to the track, and just kind of fits in with the genre as well of what we're going for, the kind of sound of the track. The other thing here, if I've got this delay throw, which comes at the end of the verse, but also we got another one here as well. So let me play these.
They got ended, called out 48 laws of karma. Still on D. What I know, cause you be thinking, my oh gosh, what going for the shoot, he's lost. So I make that wither and wipe them off. Still on D.
Yeah, so it just kind of helps the verse to transition into the chorus. Play this in solo.
Ended, called out 48 laws of karma.
So what did we do? Again, it's just a basic channel, you know, EQ, compression, de-essing. I have kind of filtered out the super high end on this, so it's quite mid-rangey what I've sent into this, to just give it that more kind of telephone or radio effect on there. And we've got the H delay, which is creating the actual delay itself. The wet dial needs to be all the way up. I get asked questions on this. Make sure the wet is all the way at 100% because you don't want to be hearing the original sound, the original vocal come through on this channel. So you want this up at 100%. And I've done a high pass and a low pass EQ on this. So we're kind of only getting the mid range, and the feedback is, you know, quite high on this. So again, what I would have done as well is just copy and pasted this word up to this channel to create this delay here on that particular word.
48 laws of karma.
After that delay, we've got the doubler, and this again is just spreading it out, creating almost like another fake vocal just to be panned left and right. And then we've got a little bit of reverb on the end as well with the Valhalla shimmer. And again, this is not necessary, but I'll play you with and without this, and you'll see that it just kind of, again, just adds a different sound to the delay, to the normal vocal.
Laws of karma. Laws of karma. Laws of karma.
You know, you can go mad with the reverb and do different things, but I just kept it down here.
Laws of karma. Still on D. A man tried end me and then he got ended. Called out 48 laws of karma. Still on Dean, swam front line there in the mosque.
And that's the finished sound of the lead vocal with all those kind of effects added. Obviously, we've got the ad-libs here, which we're going to get to later. Let's have a look at the chorus vocals now.